This past week on my eBay store, I got a VERO. And if you don't know what a VERO is, you'll want to stay tuned for this video because I'm going to explain why I got it and what I did to help resolve this case. And I think you may be surprised by how this all ended. In case you guys don't know who I am, I'm Jason. I'm a full-time reseller, and I've been doing videos like this just to help others out there like yourself with your eBay and other online reselling business. So as mentioned, I'm going to be talking about eBay's VERO program. So let's get down to business. What is VERO? Now, if you've been on eBay at all, or even if you're just a new reseller, this may be something you've seen. You hear about it in Facebook groups and messages on YouTube videos. VERO's not good. You don't want to get a VERO, and I got one. For starters, VERO, V-E-R-O, stands for Verified Rights Owner. And basically, VERO is eBay's way of protecting other companies and brands that are being sold online to keep counterfeit items, as well as, in some cases, some items at all from being sold. Now, if you've never heard of VERO or you're not sure what it means, it's something you'll want to do a little more research on because it's not something you want to get. It's a violation on your account, it's a flag, it's a ding, and if you get too many VEROs, you can be kicked off eBay for good. Now, just to give you an idea, I've been reselling full-time for 4 years now, but I've been reselling in general for many years. And over the course of my reselling, I've only gotten 2 to 3 VEROs at the very beginning when I started learning how to resell and I had no idea what a VERO was. And I quickly learned what they are and how to avoid them. And I went several years without getting a VERO. And this last week, I got my first one in a long time. Now, when it comes to VERO and selling online, there are a couple of things that you want to be aware of. First of all, there are keywords that you cannot use in titles or your listing will be removed and you will get a VERO. This was my first VERO. I used the word Velcro in the title. There are many resellers who've been selling long enough on eBay to have this experience where they used the word Velcro in their title and it got removed and they got their first VERO violation. That's the simplest one and the one that gets most resellers. So don't use Velcro in your titles. So mistake number one, that was my first VERO violation. Any of you out there who know other words that trigger VEROs like Velcro, feel free to leave a comment below so that we all know what words to avoid in our titles. Second is using a brand that's on the list that doesn't permit you to sell their items at all. There are a couple brands that I'm aware of just from reselling, and I'm sure there are more, but the two that I know of are OtterBox and Rosetta Stone. I had a Rosetta Stone listing up, and it was a legitimate, real, authentic Rosetta Stone software kit, and it was taken down immediately. You're not allowed to sell Rosetta Stone, so if you put that in the title and you sell an item from Rosetta Stone, you're going to get a VERO violation. And the same is true with OtterBox. And again, if you're watching this and you know of other brands that we should just steer clear of, please leave a comment below. And number 3, selling counterfeit items. Obviously, eBay does not allow you to sell counterfeit items. Whether you knew that or not, you can't. So don't do it. At one point before I knew about this rule, I had a counterfeit Louis Vuitton pair of jeans. I wasn't sure if they were real or fake, but when the buyer purchased them and received them, they got them and said, these are counterfeit, and they filed a claim against me. And because they said they were counterfeit, I got a VERO violation. Now, if you remember the first VERO for using Velcro, I got this and that second violation within a really quick period of time. And because of that, 2 dings in a short time, eBay took my account off for 7 days. I could sell items, but I couldn't list any more items. So you don't want to get a VERO. It will obviously result in you getting a warning at first, but banned from eBay for a certain amount of times based on how many VEROs you've had in the past. So back to my story, I was going along doing my business. It's been years since I've had a VERO, and then last week, bam, I get the email, VERO violation, listing removed. So I want to explain what I got a VERO for and how I handled it. And as I mentioned before, you'll want to stick around because the ending actually was surprising to me. So for starters, let's take a look at the item that I got a VERO violation for. This hat right here, U.S. Marine Corps hat, embroidered, camouflage, new with tags. And if you look behind me, you can see a whole shelf full of hats that are Marine and Air Force based. Now let's take a look at the email message that eBay sent me showing me that I got a VERO violation. When you get a VERO, this is what it's going to look like. Your listing was removed, VERO, verified rights owner, unauthorized item policy. And then it basically is just this blurb telling you what item was removed. And as you can see, if I scroll down, it will tell me right here, this was the item number, U.S. Marine Corps camo hat, the one I showed you before. And then it will tell you who took it down and why it was taken down. So the reason why it was taken down is this right here. Your listing was reported by the United States Marine Corps for offering a counterfeit item. And then you'll notice right below that it says If you believe a mistake has been made, you will need to contact the rights owner directly. And if they approve your appeal, they will contact eBay directly to reinstate your listing. And it said you can send an email to marinecorps@infringementreports.com. So just to give you a little backstory, I bought about 150 to 200 of these hats for $1 each. And I've slowly been selling them for $7 to $10 plus shipping. Now I've already made my money back, so I'm not concerned about losing money on this case, but I still have like 125 hats left, so I'd obviously like to keep those listed and make profit off of these hats. Now, quick sidebar here. I do have these listings on multiple platforms, Facebook, Mercari, Poshmark, Depop, so there is a chance they could sell there. And for a while, I did consider just removing them from eBay and letting them sell on those sites as well. But let's face it, eBay gets a lot of views, and I don't want to lose out on potential buyers for these hats, especially since they are slower movers and it's a highly competitive market. Meaning I sell one of these hats like every week or two. I don't sell a lot, but it is $5 to $10 profit every time I sell one. So because I'm a full-time reseller, I can't afford to be banned from eBay for any amount of time. I depend on sales to make money for a living. I had 4 different listings for all those hats. So once I got the Vero on this item, I went ahead and took down all 4 listings just to make sure I didn't get a string of Veros and get that banned from eBay for a certain amount of time. You heard me mention the email that eBay showed in the message that said you could email this Vero program owner and appeal your case to them and see if they do anything about it. And I had Googled that email, and it turns out that someone else had received a similar Vero violation from that same email a year or so ago. And they said they messaged them, but they never responded. So here's where I went next. So I went ahead and went to the Vero program participant page. eBay has a list of all the companies and brands that participate in Vero that you want to be aware of. If you just go to Google and type in eBay Vero program participants, you can pull up the list of all of the brands that are on this list. And from the top of this page, you'll see Vero participant profiles. Click on that and it will take you to a list of all of these brands that are on eBay's Vero program. These are companies or brands that have already registered with eBay to be monitored and to have listings monitored to make sure that they follow the guidelines. Now here's where it gets confusing and really like technical legal jargon that when you click into any one of these brand profiles, you'll get a whole bunch of like legal, as I said, legal jargon that is somewhat confusing, but basically the gist of it is either we don't want you selling counterfeit items or we don't want you selling our item at all. So I was intrigued that the United States Marine Corps went online and removed me for selling a counterfeit hat. It's not a counterfeit hat because it does have the tag, and I've got several of these. It's not counterfeit. It's a real hat by a real brand, and that brand is Grunt Apparel. So I went searching for the United States Marine Corps, and all I could find was United States Forest Service. So then I thought, well, maybe it's under Marine Corps, which seems kind of strange, but I thought I would check that as well. And I scrolled up and looked for Marine Corps, and you'll notice that it's not anywhere to be found. There's no Marine, there's no United States Marine, there's no program on the Vero list or brand that is for the United States Marine Corps. And I found this to be very strange. If I'd found the Marine Corps on here participating in the Vero program, I would have just left my listing off and just carried on selling that on other platforms and just not relisted it on eBay. But because I didn't see it on the list, I decided to give eBay a call. Now, before I tell you how that concluded, I wasn't too hopeful that this was going to do any good. I really just thought I'm going to get the same answer. Yes, Vero's bad. Don't post those items. Don't sell them. And honestly, I was going to go on my way, but I thought it was at least worth a try. But after talking to a very friendly eBay rep, John, he told me that because the United States Marine Corps is nowhere to be found on the list, they cannot request that you not sell their items. And he quickly stated that they would be reinstating my listing and allowing me to sell that item. Now, this is good news for me because, like I said, I've got over 100 of those hats, and though they're not fast movers, I am making money now that I've already broken even on the bundle of hats that I purchased. So I was quite surprised that he was going to reinstate the listing after a few minutes of digging around on the phone and finding out that they're nowhere to be found registered in the Vero program. And if I go back into the email from eBay, here's the message where it shows that my listing has been restored. Hello, Ozark Mountain Goods. We've restored your listing here. And basically it's just telling you how to relist it from it being taken down. Now, although I was super excited, I wasn't gonna just hang up. I definitely stayed on the phone and asked to make sure that if I got a Vero violation again, what would happen. Now, John did say that he was going to remove the Vero violation from my account so that it wouldn't be seen, which was good news for me because your first one in a long time is a warning. Your second one in a specific time frame results in a suspension from eBay. So what I really wanted was for that Vero ding to be cleared off my account so that if I happen to get a Vero in the future, which I'm not planning on, it would result in just a warning and not a violation and a suspension. So the fact that he removed that from my account was huge. The second thing I wanted to know was, what happens if I get a Vero again from this same person? He stated to me that they would be monitoring my account over the next week and making sure that nothing happened to result in a Vero for that specific item. Now, I don't know how much I believe that they're going to be actively monitoring my account. He may have just said that to help reassure me, but I have no doubt that if something like this happens again, I'll call them up and there will be a note on my file that shows that this one was removed and they can reinstate the second one. But he did reassure me I would not get a Vero violation on this hat for a second time. So in this case, it turned out really well. But what happens if you get a Vero violation? Maybe you have one right now pending, or you have a ding on your account, or maybe you've already been banned from eBay for a certain amount of time. First of all, figure out what the Vero is for. Is it for selling a counterfeit? Is it for a certain keyword that you used? Is it for selling a product by a brand that you're not allowed to sell online? It's most important that you know why you got the Vero and not just that you got the Vero. You need to know why so that you don't do that again in the future and get another Vero later on. Second is find other listings that may also result in a Vero. If you use Velcro in more than one listing, obviously you're going to have to take it out of the other listings quickly, or you're going to receive a lot of Vero violations, and that's not going to be good. You won't want to deal with that. Unfortunately, eBay has this way of just giving you the Vero without really giving you a lot of warning. Meaning if you have several dings on your account, several violations in a certain amount of time, eBay doesn't look to see that, oh, well, 3 of those came in 3 days because you used the word Velcro, which you didn't know about before that. eBay just sees that you had 3 dings. And therefore, based on however many dings you get in a certain amount of time, that results in how much time you will be suspended. So it's very important that you deal with this right away and not let it get away from you. And then third, if you have a brand or a keyword that you're using or a brand that won't allow you to sell their items and they're not on the Vero list, then call eBay like I did. And most likely it will result in that item being reinstated and that ding being removed from your account. Well, that's going to do it for today's video. Thanks so much for following along in this journey as I just share with you my reselling tips and real-time stuff that's happening for my online business. If you have any questions whatsoever about Vero or any questions in general, please leave a comment below and I'll do my best to get to you as quickly as I can. And I did mention it earlier, but if you please comment if you have received a Vero from a brand or for using a specific keyword so that we can all be aware of what those things are that are off grounds that we can't use. And hopefully saving us all a bunch of time and frustration in getting these Veros later on. Thanks so much for watching. This is Jason signing off. Have a great week. We'll see you.